When you grow up in the slums of Mumbai in India, the prospect of a happy, successful life is almost zero. Your story has deeply touched me, Sagar, because what you have made out of a life that could have just ended in poverty or remained in poverty is deeply touching and impressive. And I'm so grateful to have you here as a guest today of this episode of the Phoenix Mindset podcast, Beyond Borders, diving deep into the story of a man who comes from the slums in India and is today an accomplished global keynote speaker, a best-selling author, a wonderful, successful businessman, a loving husband, and someone, and that's something we will talk about, who lives in a multi-generational home with 9 people it is.
Yep.
And who actually makes it work. So warm welcome. I'm so glad that we met 4 or 5 years ago in Delhi.
Yep.
And that we've become friends and
Absolutely.
that we can share your story here today.
Yes.
So welcome, Sagar Amlani.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it's apt to hear the name Phoenix Mindset. And, Phoenix is someone who rises from the dead.
Mm.
So,
and
thank you
you were deep down in the ashes.
Well, living in slums was not just the deep down. I had more deep downs even in that.
Even afterwards?
No, even while living in slums. So if I may give you an example.
So living in a slum, what it actually means. I mean, we have maybe an image. I've been to India many, many times and I love the country. And I still remember how when I've never really gone deep into the slums in India. In Africa, I have, not in India. But I remember that sensation when I first was in it on a train, and we passed by a slum, and there was I was 18 years old. There was a gentleman naked doing his morning toilet by the side of the railway trails.
Track.
And there was no space for him to do it in privacy. And I can still remember how hard that hit me. And that's many, many years ago. But if you would not mind sharing how it really is, I mean, this is probably 10 times harsher or 100 times harsher than we can ever imagine. Yeah. What is it like to live and grow up and spend your childhood in a slum in India, in Mumbai?
Sure. Before that, a disclaimer. India is beautiful. It's not only the slums, it's got many, many, many multi-story buildings. Of course, the topic that we're talking is where I was born, brought up, and lived for most of the part of life. So just to give you a visual treat, imagine 180 square feet of land.
How much? Soccer field compared to a soccer field?
1/10 of a soccer field.
Okay, so really the area in front of the goal.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I could say just the goal key, the goal post.
Okay.
Double the goal post, that's it.
Okay.
And it's got 4 walls, no plasters, and an asbestos roof on the top, not even the aluminium roof, because aluminium roof was expensive. The asbestos used to be a cheaper option.
So you had asbestos as walls and roof?
Yep.
Jeez.
And
did you have light or electricity?
Yes, we did had light electricity, but the most beautiful view outside my house was, in India we call it a nala. If I have to describe it, it's more like a sewage canal which flows, but it's open. And that was the view that I had.
Stinks.
That stinks.
And it's dangerous.
Kind of dangerous, but we don't go there because you don't want to fall there or you don't want to get your feet dirty. But yes, we had to travel through that to come out of the area. So we used to be very careful or lift our pants up, try to go out. So that was the view. And if that gives you a visual thing that of the area of the apartment or the...
How many people lived in your very simple house made out of asbestos plates?
So at that time, it was me, mom and dad, and my younger brother. But if I have to give you a vision of the whole community, there were around 4,000 families living in that very area, and that very area would not be more than 2 times the soccer field.
4,000 people.
Families, yeah.
When you look back at your childhood, were you fully aware how poor you were? Was it something that was just normal? Was it something that made you sad? Or how do you remember your childhood?
I remember it with a lot of good memories though,
Beautiful.
because it's mom who actually made us find solutions in problems. So we used to have power cut off, and she would bring out
What?
the power, the
Oh,
electricity.
a power cut off, sorry.
Yeah, so it would be electricity or the power cut off, and mom would come out with, ta-da, candles, let's have candlelight dinner today. So she would
Beautiful.
have a problem, but she would come out with a solution.
And cheering everyone up, like
Yes.
turning a power
Tuning
shortage into candlelight dinner.
Yeah, and in monsoon we used to have 3 inches of water in the floor because of the seepage, and then she used to come out with bricks, and she used to say, let's play games, we are not going to step on the floor, we are only going to be on the bricks, whoever puts on the floor is out. So it's just to make fun of everything that we had. So yes, I have good memories, and yes, I knew I was not rich.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because food was a shortage. Clothes, I used to take it from my cousins, from other people. So I knew I never had my own sizes.
Did you go to school?
Yes.
How did you go to school?
So in India, there is an option given by government that people who could not afford schooling in a private school, there's a 15% quota reservation. There's a 15% reservation kept for those kids. You give an exam, and if you clear that exam, if you're good, you excel in that exam, the government pays your fees, and your parents just have to pay a nominal, maybe not even 1/10, I would call it as 1/100 of the whole fee. Like I used to pay like £5 if the fees was £500. I used to pay £5.
And that probably was a stretch for your parents.
It was a stretch.
Yeah. And so basically you got a scholarship.
Yes.
So to say.
So to say.
Yeah. Were you proud that you were able to make it into the schools?
It was super proud, is because I made it through the scholarship, and that was a proud moment because I was now studying with people who lived a better life than me, which means I was able to visualize, understand, and observe what they do.
Okay, you've just said something super powerful, because I often talk about the power of the people we surround ourselves with, and having people that are above you, that inspire you, that show you what's possible. For some, it is depressing because they just see themselves as, okay, I don't have, I can't do, I'm not enough, I will never. And others that just look up and say, this is somewhere where I can grow to be, where I can
learn.
Yeah. And that's really the difference of using that environment in a very powerful, beautiful way, even as a kid.
However, I was always embarrassed not to bring any of my friend at my home. Nobody knew in school where did I live.
And the beauty in India is that you have school uniforms.
Yes.
So it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. School uniforms, school bags, everything is standard because everything is monitored by either government or school. And there is no option for cars coming in and dropping. Either you come in a bicycle or you take a school bus.
Okay,
so there's no differentiation.
And none of your friends knew where you lived?
None of them knew till I was well-to-do, and then I invited them for the first time in my house, and that is when I was 22.
So at 22, you took your childhood friends to your
slum
house?
Not my slum house.
Okay.
The well-to-do house.
Okay, so once you'd made it out of the slum.
Yeah.
Did you ever tell them that you grew up in the slums?
After that, yes, I told them. Because then I was not embarrassed. Before that, I was embarrassed that I might lose them as friends, because you never know what they might think. Yeah. I love to observe. I love to be with them, but I was not sure how they would take it. So I said, it's better not to say anything. So as a child, I used to be an introvert, never speak, never go out, be shy. And even if there's a gathering, that's again one more thing that my mother taught me, that whenever you're in a gathering and let's say you are sharing something, and of course we are short of money, But she always ensured that she gave me money
Mhm.
in my pocket, which means it made me feel abundance as a mindset. Now, she worked on that. But she said, never take out your 100 rupee note or a 100 pound note and give it, is because then you would be like this. Hey, give me 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. The best way to do it is whenever there's a ditch or whenever there's a demon, you give whatever you owe to one person and you are out of the game.
Mhm.
Never let any other person tell you that you have to pay me. Give it in advance so you're sorted. Don't give more so that you don't ask around.
That's a clever way, yeah. So whilst she didn't have a lot, she gave you a little bit of money so you would
Yes.
feel like you didn't come.
I have something in my pocket.
Wow. So how did you manage to obviously make it out of the slums? Most people don't ever change their lives. Most people who are born in the slums, unfortunately, don't have the opportunity you had, but also don't take the opportunities that you
True.
grabbed and turned into something very beautiful and powerful.
Yeah.
What was it?
The turning point was 26 July 2005. I remember that date. That it's because it's engraved and etched in my journey, because that was the day we had 8 feet of water in the house because of the floods.
How much is it? We don't do feet. Like, just show me.
So if I stand, it's even 2 feet above me. So it's
Okay,
like,
so about 2 meters.
so 183 centimeters is like 6 feet, even 20.
So roughly 2 meters.
2 meters approximately.
Yeah. So
there was nothing else in the house except the water and a little space between the roof.
Okay, so your house was gone.
It was literally gone. And that is the day when I was out, came back, and I saw all that. We had to actually wait for 48 hours to even open the doors.
So there was one big flood that washed through Mumbai, and
that was the first and the biggest flood in the city area.
Okay, and your home was gone.
It was gone. So when we opened the door after 48 hours, we had 1 inch of sludge. Bed, which was weighing, let's say, 15 pounds, became 150 because of the water inside it, because it's cotton. Removing all that and then staying literally on road with arms of people giving food, clothes, things to live. That 40 days actually was a turning point, is because...
So you didn't have a home for 40 days?
Yeah, nothing.
You were homeless, really.
Yes. The best part is, that told me that there's nothing below this. And if there's anything below this, it's just the coffin. So there's no fear after that. And
you had nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. And that was a turning point, which made me think that if I still continue my life here, I'm going to die like a cockroach. So either fight or fail. There's nothing to lose when you fail.
Yeah, because you're already at rock
bottom. You are
the poorest of the poor. You live in the slums of India.
And even that house was gone.
Yeah, which is the epitome of poverty. Wow.
And the floods took away even whatever little we had.
Which was nothing already, and then that little nothing was gone.
So then there's nothing to fear, nothing to lose.
Were you desperate? Were you upset? What emotions did you have? Or did you immediately have this feeling of, okay, we've lost it all, now let's start fighting?
I was lost completely. I wouldn't say I had the feeling of, no. Cried, lost, nothing. I mean, I was not able to think anything.
How old were you at the time?
I was 21.
Okay, so still relatively young, but you'd finished your school?
I finished my school, but that was the time I started getting a little bit of higher salary because I was working.
What were you working at?
I just completed my engineering in 21. So I was working as a trainee. So I was earning a little more than my mother and father put together could earn because of the education. But the problem was, that was just 1 month in my job. So the first salary, and we had purchased something like a few electronic things and gone. So.
And how did you get out of that total devastation, of that state of crying, feeling lost, having lost everything, into let's turn this around?
It took a long time. For me, it took almost 2 months, but again.
Well, 2 months is not long, if I may.
Yeah, but
it
there's no other option.
No, and it's good to see that sometimes these decisions, they don't come overnight.
Yeah, they don't.
It does take, and your system needs to digest and work through that loss.
2 months it took me to come out of the thought process. 2 years it took me to take action.
Okay. So what happened after those 2 months? What was the decision you made for yourself?
So again, that was a statement that my mother gave. Is there an option by doing crying, or is there an option that you keep crying and you will solve your problem? And I said, no, of course not. And then she's like, okay, what do you do next? And I was like, no, but we've lost everything. We've lost everything. We have gone. She's like, okay, I hear you. What next?
Wow. Where did she take that strength from? Because she had also lost everything.
I don't know where it came from.
And
but
she is a slum woman. She had spent all her life till then in the slums.
So then the only thing that she said is, Saga, nature has got everything in abundance. You decide what you want. It'll be delivered to you.
So basically, it's all there. You've just got to make it happen for you.
Ask for it. And I said, how do I ask? I don't have money. My certificates were all gone. I don't have clothes to wear. I have nothing to do. What do I do? And she's like, okay. Are you alive? I said, yes. Are you breathing? I said, yes. Do you have hands and legs? I said, yes. I said, that's enough.
And you have a brain, if I may add.
So that's what she said. And she said, start working hard. Things will fall in place. Don't expect everything to know today. You take a step, and it'll evolve. You don't expect that you will know exactly what are you going to do after a few years. No. Keep going forward.
One step at a time, just do those continuously.
So it took me 2 months to agree to what she was saying, because I was like, no, I've lost everything. I've lost everything.
I think it is fair to allow yourself some time to mourn, to just be devastated, because that is a big hit for anyone. Just imagine you've got so little, and that little you then lose. And there is no way you can imagine at that point how to get out of that misery.
There's no insurance.
Yeah, I mean, you probably didn't know how to spell insurance.
Yeah. No, we don't get insurance in those areas, is because that's not considered as something where insurance companies would invest in.
And you wouldn't have had the money to pay the insurance fee anyway.
So it was just lost.
Oh, okay. So after those 2 months, you finally understood, or your whole system accepted that crying just doesn't make sense any longer, and that there is a life that you can build for yourself. Yeah. What happened next?
So what happened next was, I told my mom, I'll go to London to do my master's.
Yeah, so there's the little slum boy from India who's just lost everything, going to London to do his... Okay, how did you manage to go from I've lost everything to that confidence, that belief that little Sagar Amlani from the Indian slums can go to London and do his master's?
The reaction that you gave was very subtle. I got more horrified reaction. Some people said he's gone mad, he's lost it, he's stupid, he's going to make everything go wild. I mean, people said so many things to me, and all I said is, sure.
Who were the people that said these? Who did?
All my relatives.
Okay, people that were on a similar level.
No, all my relatives who were already on the higher level. So it was not...
Okay.
So I was not my family was there. It was only my father was there, but his brothers, his sisters were
all... And they had
all
already moved up a little step.
Long ago.
Okay. But not very high, but...
No, some of them were pretty very high, because some of them used to give me clothes after they've worn it, and I could use their...
And those people who were so much above you already did not believe in you.
They made fun.
Sorry.
This is not your area. You should not think of all this. Be in your limits. Don't dream too big and all that. And I said, no problem. And to answer your question that where did I get London in mind? Again, it was a child in me. So I said, I used to do the conversions of currency. So 90 rupees is 1 pound. So it's like, I'll go there, I'll earn 1, I'll send it to mama, and it'll become 90. But
wow. Yeah, and sometimes these little number games can have
but
such a huge effect.
I was so stupid. I didn't realize I'll have to spend the money in pounds as well when I live there.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, that dream of the boy who saw £1 being
90 times.
sent to India and becoming 90 rupees for your mom to buy food.
Yeah. So that was the idea that said, I'll go there. Nothing else. It was just the simple conversion that 1 becomes 90.
Where did you get the confidence from?
Like I said, I had friends in school.
Mhm.
2 of them were in London.
Mhm.
And at that time, we did not have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We had Orkut. It was a very Facebook thing, but it was Orkut. And we used to chat on that they're doing education, they're doing masters, they're studying there.
Mhm.
And they used to send pictures of their university, of the bus that they're traveling in, of the classroom that they are studying in. That motivated me because that was my world. I never knew any other country.
Well, you
that
lived in your slum and you saw your school.
Yeah. So that was the only country where my friends have gone, so I can go. Little did I knew that that's going to be a very uphill task because the fees, which I never thought of,
You were naive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did literally research for 2 years of what to study, where to go, how to go, what scholarships, everything, but never ever realized how will I pay even the first installment just to get admission.
How did you?
So
Because you did end up studying.
I did end up
and graduating in London.
So there were people who, when I went to ask them, where they were multimillionaires, and they used to invite people that, oh, you come to us and we'll help you. And they had their little NGOs. So I went there to ask them, and literally they made fun that, no, this is not for people like you. This is not for people who come from these areas. You stay there, you live there, you die there. We will not be able to do anything. And they gave all sorts of hopeless case. So I said, no problem. Thank you.
And you always stayed calm and polite?
No, when in front of them, yes. At home, I used to be angry. I used to cry. So with mom, that was my personal time. But nobody outside knew what's going inside. Because I always believed I don't need to show others who don't care of what I feel. I can show it to people who care for me. I can show them all my tantrums, my anger, my crying, anything and everything. But for the outside world, it's okay. Thank you.
So no one believed in you?
No one. One person at the end of, I think, after the 2 years of my research, when I was literally leaving everything, all the dreams shattered, and I said, I'm not going to go. It's okay, done. I'll live here. I gave up literally. He came in the afternoon and he said to my mom, can you make tea for me? Like Indians, we love chai.
Yeah.
She said, can you make
And I'm embarrassed because I'm only offering you green tea. Oh.
No, that's fine. So he said, can you make me tea, beta? And while she was preparing tea, he comes to me and says, what if I give you money? Like,
so he just offered?
Yeah, he just offered without knowing the amount. And I said, I'll return it to you. He said, but you have nothing to give me as a collateral. I said, even if I fail studying there, even if I fail in my master's there, I'll sell my kidney, I'll sell anything, but I'll give your money back, but give me this opportunity. Sorry, just... I said, give me this opportunity. I'll do anything in the world to get it back. And he said, yes.
Wow. What's his name?
We used to call him Mota Mama with love. Mota means elder, and Mama is like mother's brother. So he played a blind game on me, and I gave him a jackpot. I returned the money in 3 months.
Wow.
Because I worked as a bartender, I worked as a litter picker, I worked as anything under the sun that could give me money.
To pay him back.
Because I had to pay him back, and I committed it to him that I'll give it to him in 1 year. I gave it to him in 3 months.
Wow. I mean, just the fact that he believed in you. And
I actually relived that moment with him.
Is he aware of what opportunities he opened for you?
Oh, yes. Because before he passed away 3 years ago, but before he passed away, I sat with him. I told him everything that was happening then. I told him everything that is happening now. I even got an opportunity where I was getting an award from the society, which pulled me down. Now they invited me as a chief guest. And in that
No way.
society, I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 never believed in me, but my mama did, and he's right here. Thank
And
you so
said that at the
I
award
said it
ceremony.
up front because I was a
Yes.
chief guest. I had nothing to fear.
Yes, and they awarded you, and you said, sorry.
The guy who said no awarded me.
What a moment. I mean, what a moment to say
So-
you didn't believe in me.
Yeah. So then I also went ahead and said one thing to him. You guys have money. It's invaluable if it's in your bank account.
Mhm.
Give it to people like me
Mhm.
who will actually make it 10x, 100x and give it back to you.
Yeah.
Don't look up to us as hopeless.
And it's not about giving to everyone. And there are people that would just waste it.
I say evaluate. Look at the person.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not someone who would take it and run away. I said, I'll give you everything that I have. I was ready to sell off my kidney in case if I don't make money, and I'll give you the money.
Yeah.
So it was not that I wanted to run away with the money,
No.
because money is the most insensible thing or immaterialistic thing that you should run away for. You should run away for your values, your word, and yourself. Money comes and money goes, but
Yeah.
you don't go and you don't come.
Yeah. Wow. So you finished your master's degree
Yes, I
in
did.
London under a scholarship?
Under a scholarship, I topped the university, scoring almost the second highest number, got in the campus interview, and that was a life-changing moment.
Wow. How did you feel that moment being
Top of the world.
Yeah.
Top of the world. There's nothing that could stop me from there. And around in a week's time, I could actually send a huge sum of money back home.
Factor 90?
Yes, more than that. And I told my mom, get a house, send me a picture that you are enjoying the monsoon, having tea in the balcony and not with water in your feet.
And bricks on the floor?
And I'll come back to London to India.
As a student, just by doing student jobs,
Yep.
you were able to buy a house for your parents.
Yep. Because, see, there were options in London that you either work 20 hours a week that's deputed to you, but there are also other options where you can actually earn in cash.
Mm-hmm.
And the litter picker job, nobody used to do because it's very demeaning
so you collected
job.
rubbish.
And I said, I don't care. I need money.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel bad collecting rubbish, or did you feel proud that it would make you money to buy your parents a house?
Actually played game with my mind when I was doing that. So I used to tell, okay, so there were situations where on the day 1 or day 2, picking up and, you feel like a rat, picking up everything. Cried. And I said, okay, who knows me here? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I care for here? Nobody. Am I ashamed of anyone? Nobody. Then who cares? Let's just do it. Get the money, job done, go back to India and you're sorted. So I said, I really don't care about anybody. The purpose was getting my family a better home.
Mm-hmm.
And I always believe that when your purpose is bigger than yourself, your ego doesn't come in between.
Yeah, but I find it extremely nice that you also share that you did have these initial doubts and
Yes.
shame and embarrassment. I mean,
Completely.
Rubbish collecting is not the sexiest job in the world, especially when you're studying and you're on a scholarship and everyone is so posh. And
Yeah. I did not have my laptop to complete my master's. I used to go in the library, borrow it, finish the things. So that's how I did. And I saw people saying, oh, if I don't have a MacBook, how will I do my master's? And I was like, wow, God bless you.
Yeah. Wow. So once you had your master's degree, you went back to India.
Yes, because my purpose was to earn.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear. Earn the education, earn the money.
Mm-hmm.
It was never to leave my parents and stay alone, because I always wanted to stay with them, serve them, give them the best of everything I could ever give them, whatever they've not been able to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to say today, it's absolutely being done the way they wanted. Anything that she thinks or my father thinks, with blessings of God, I'm able to fulfill that. And that makes me happy.
You've really created an amazing life, not just for yourself, but for an entire extended family.
Yep. And I also have an orphanage now, which I take care of.
You have an orphanage?
Yeah, because I don't want others to go through what I did.
Where is that?
So I used to stay in Hyderabad after Bombay to do a job. in that, I created a local community called LinkedIn Local Hyderabad. And that
you're very active on LinkedIn.
Yes. So that community helped me to take kids on board, get a house. And it was not my only effort. It was a collective effort of 400 people in that community. We actually did that. Though I was taking the lead to get the deliverables done, they also supported with money, excess funds, other materials, getting approvals, getting government grants.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say now, even if I've shifted from there, there are 2 people who are taking care and the show is running.
Wow. And where do you live now?
In Vadodara, Gujarat.
Where's that roughly? Say a city
It's
that...
west of India.
Western part of India. Any bigger city in the... I mean, most cities in India are big.
Ahmedabad, Surat, if it sounds name. Or you can just Google Statue of Unity. It's the world's largest statue. And that's in my city.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, fast forward. You are how old now? Sorry.
40.
40. So you're 40 years old. You're married to a beautiful wife, Mansi, who's actually here with us today. She's sitting over there. And you're an accomplished man. You make shitloads of money. You speak on stages around the world. You've published 3 books. You're a best-selling author. You run a very profitable business. You've bought a beautiful home for your family. You live with your extended family.
Yes.
Wow. How does that make you feel, what you have achieved?
If I can say, I can actually say, even if I have to go away from this world today, I'm at peace. I've done my job. And I've done whatever I wanted to. It's not that I want to go away, but I'm saying I'm at so much of peace that whatever has happened, I'm sorted.
Yeah. Was it a tough journey?
Of course. No doubt about it. I mean, I would not blink for a second and say it was easy. No. It was tough, cried, had depression, had anger issues, had been an introvert, was not able to see people eye to eye. I would not even go in trips and picnics because they used to have money. What would I take? I did not have a tiffin. So how would I go? So too many things where I've not done so many things for myself. And now I'm living those life.
And you still persevered. You pushed through despite all the challenges, besides the setbacks, the moments of tears, fear, anger, desperation.
Yes, we always have to do that. One thing I always believe is I don't push myself for materialistic wealth. So that's one thing I may be different from the world, that I don't want a Rolex. I don't want a Mercedes. I would rather invest that money to help someone else. So I've sponsored multiple students till now. I have taken few other things. So rather than investing money in having an Armani suit, if I can manage with a local suit, I'm sorted. But I would help a guy to get educated because I see Sagar in him.
Yeah, and the initial monetary goals you had, that was not for show-off reasons. That was to really secure the
basic food, clothing and shelter.
Yeah, and not having water in your house and not living next to a sewage canal and not being at risk. And
that's it.
You said the other day that your mom cooked holding an umbrella during the monsoon season.
Because what happens is in asbestos roof, it goes like layer by layer. And when you have small rats going, sometimes they get stuck and they die. So in monsoon, when they die, there's white color maggots that fall and you can't actually climb on the roof when they're wet because the whole thing will fall down. So I've seen her for almost 12 years, multiple incidents where she's having an umbrella and she's cooking because she doesn't want the maggots to fall in.
Beautiful. Wow. Now you've written your story in a book which is called The Crossroads of Life.
Yep.
And
well, that was inspired by you.
You know what? You told me that yesterday at a party. We were at Avni's place at a party, beautiful party, and we danced for hours, Bollywood. And I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Do you want to share the story?
Sure. I mean, that was the start of my journey as a speaker after working for 18 years in a corporate as a vice president. And I said, I'm done.
Excuse me, say that again. Vice president. This is former slum boy Sagar Amlani just working in a big corporation as the vice president.
Oh, because titles really don't matter.
No, but in a way, in this case, they do.
They do.
Because
yes,
it shows
I agree.
how much one can achieve if you just take
Well,
action.
if I can then give an example, I was working as an office boy in the same company in my London times, and when they shifted me to India is when I became that. So it was literally from an office boy to there.
So the chai wala became the president.
The one who can actually order the tea.
Wow. Goosebumps.
Absolutely. That was a fun moment.
Wow. Yeah, and we met the first time in...
I think in 2020 when you came to Delhi.
Yeah.
And I shared a snippet of my story with you while we were having pizza in a good restaurant.
But sorry, can we just make a pact? We will never have pizza in India again.
Yeah, okay, we
will just have dosas and dals and no more pizza in India.
Done deal.
Okay, it was still a nice evening though.
Yes, it was a nice evening, and that was the first time I met you. I don't know what connected us, but the only joke that I cracked, it was lame, but I said, hey, I just know one word in Germany and that's Punt. And you went out laughing, yeah.
It was your energy.
Yes.
It wasn't the word that impressed me very clearly.
Just set aside and started talking, and something got us connected. And while we were just finishing, and you said, you should write a book. That's quite a story. And I was like, engineer writing a book? How would it happen? And then things started unfolding automatically, like nature wanted it to happen. I got connected to a few people, few influencers like Marshall Goldsmith, who started guiding me on what to do, how to do, a little tidbits here and there.
Yeah, and sometimes it just needs that tiny initial push of someone seeing what you don't see yet.
So thanks to you, that was, you seeded the idea of writing the book. And
that
God
was
bless.
Only the first of 3 now.
Only the first, and I still remember the most hilarious thing. I wrote it exactly like an engineer, point, and my editor went laughing. I mean, he just said, wow, you've written a book? Wow.
Oh, great story, but...
But then he edited it in a very nice way. He made it into a beautiful story, weaved it into proper sentences.
Yeah, because you can tell stories well. And yeah.
Not then, but now, yes, because I've learned the craft after writing the 3rd book. Now I've learned the craft because I believe everything in the world can be learned. There's nothing that you cannot learn. Yeah. There are some things that you cannot do because of your age. Like if I say I want to become an IS officer, I can't because the criteria is 32 years. So that's...
Yeah, and there are certain things that maybe physically you shouldn't endeavor.
But learning, that never stops. You can learn anytime, anything, anywhere.
Yeah. Wow. Now you live in Gujarat with your extended family. That for me and for most people from my cultural background is a tricky thing to imagine. Like parents-in-law, your parents, but for Mansi, they're the parents-in-law. You've got uncles, your brother. It's like this whole clan of different individuals that all have their own needs, their own... Yeah, everyone has their ups and downs.
Ups and downs, demands, privacy, choices.
How does that work? You know what, Mansi? Do you actually want to briefly join us? Come on, sit here with us, because this is about you just as much. Because I am so impressed by how you make this. Sit with us. Just got to speak loudly.
Hello.
Presenting Mansi, your wonderful wife.
Thank you.
So how do you guys make that? Like, how do you manage to live with parents-in-law peacefully?
Well, before she starts, I'll tell you, she married me when I was jobless.
Okay. What did you see in him other than his spirit?
Yeah. So as a person, he was good. And I knew that he would definitely find a job today or tomorrow. Good. But finding a person who values the other person and respects the other person was more important.
Oh, so you saw something in him?
Yes. So there's no point in having a partner who values only money and not care for me. So he cared for me, and that's how I reciprocated, and I cared for him.
Okay, so you got married and then you all moved into, you lived in Hyderabad for a while?
Yes, so when I got married, I was in Bombay.
Back then it was still Bombay.
Bombay. Yeah, it's still in my heart, it's still Bombay.
For me as well, because for me, I visited Bombay.
Yeah.
I've never actually been to
Mumbai.
So my memories are still Bombay.
So what happened is she was looking for a boy as an arranged marriage that she doesn't want
So
to.
it's an arranged marriage.
Yes, it is
Yes.
arranged. And
And
she doesn't want to
Mhm.
marry to a boy who is not living in Mumbai.
Okay, but excuse me, an arranged marriage with someone who's not got a job, that's a bit of a lousy deal.
It's
And I'm sure.
Yes, yes. So my father really asked me. He asked him, "What are you doing?" If my relatives ask me that, "What is a son-in-law doing?" What will I tell? And upfront, I said, "Papa, tell him what is the fact, and in due course he'll find something." So the boy is good, the family is good. Let's not just drop that family because he's not having job right now in hand. He had something in back. He will definitely have something in future. So let's look for the family and let us look for that boy.
Okay. When an arranged marriage, again, something that's totally unthinkable for me. When you guys first met, what was that feeling? Was it like, oh, bling, bling, oh my God, look at how sexy he is? Or was it like,
well, I was in
Beta.
in the lousiest t-shirt,
why?
wearing slippers with oil in my head, jeans because I didn't want to get married.
So you wanted to.
Yeah. So
I wanted my space.
he dressed in that way so that the girl will reject the boy and he'll get his peace.
Okay, you failed. You totally
I
failed.
totally failed. She actually loved that simple look and she's like, oh, how he's so simple. And I was like, I did a mistake.
Okay, I should have put on that Rolex that I
Yeah.
never owned.
But I'm proud, after 13 years, I'm proud that we got married.
What was that first feeling, the first thoughts? Was it love at first sight or was it, yeah, let's see?
It was definitely, yeah, let's see. And we did saw each other the second time.
Yeah,
And then we took the decision that, yes, we can go along
we can
together.
go along.
After 2 dates.
Yeah.
After 2 dates, because one thing I always believe in life, you cannot know a person even if you're living with them for the whole life unless and until you're committed in a responsibility, because you can be in a live-in relationship. I am not disagreeing to that. The point is, you're never taking an ownership in a live-in because you know, okay, if I don't get along, bye-bye. But when you get married is when you're committing to something. Of course, not relating to the divorce, but you're committing. And when you commit, when there's pressure, when there's responsibility, when there's ownership, when there's understanding and then there's little compromise, it's when you start seeing the person through and through.
When did love start to enter your arranged marriage?
I think 3-4 months after marriage.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it awkward to live with a stranger?
Initially, yes. Initially, it's like, oh, what would you have? How are you? It was all formal in the house. And then even like, if I would have to just hold her hand like this, it was like, that's it.
I'm
So-
holding a stranger's,
Yeah.
a stranger's hand, but actually she's my wife.
wife. So yeah, that was a different feeling. It took 3 months to sink in. But after that, it's just
Yes.
awesome.
So we together had a discussion before marriage only that how we both want to take it forward. What would you love to take part, or what would you love to take as a responsibility? So it was divided one. So we both knew what is there in my cup and what is there in your cup. So we don't cross that limits. We give that individual space as well, and then there is a common space as a relationship.
Because she's done masters in bioprocess technology, which is really a tough one. So I told her, if
Smart one.
smart one. So I said, if you really want to pursue your career, I can manage the whole house, everything, and I can work from anywhere. However, one rule was there that one person will be at the home with kids, no matter what. Because if you really have to bring them up well, we can't make them dependent on others. Either of us, we will stay at home. So if you want to do it, you do it. If not, I'll do it. So that was a choice, but there was also a compromise on each other's part that one person has to be at the den taking care of the kids.
Okay. And when did you then start having that bigger extended family home?
I think
So-
mom and dad lived with us since day one.
Yes.
Kids,
You or mom and dad?
my mom and
Yes.
dad.
Is that the custom that the girl moves in with a husband's family, or
Yes. So back in India, it is the custom that the girl gets married and moves to the husband's house. kind of, difficult or for the other cultures to accept that, because even sometimes I also feel that why it is like that, that for 25 years you are born in a family, you are staying with parents, and then suddenly one fine day you have to move everything, leave everything and go to another house, and then make it as your own house, all those people living there as your
It's a
own
big
family.
change.
It is a big change. It is at times difficult to handle. But then when you have that one common thought that now this is my family, and it is my responsibility to make this and let everybody come together. So back in India, the daughter-in-law most of the times enjoys the special place and the special power that she can bring the entire home together.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's a very tricky one. She has the power to bring everyone together. She equally has a power to separate and destroy the house completely. I've seen it in many families.
It happens. It's not
So
glorious in every family.
Yeah, so it's her mindset that actually makes things happen. It can be both ways.
Yeah.
So
we were talking money yesterday, and I was fascinated by how you deal with money, because you bring in the money. You're the money maker of the family. You actually don't have a bank account that it gets well, you have a bank account, but it doesn't get transferred. So you get an envelope with money. You bring that home, and then what happens?
So what happens is it's come to the bank account, but every month I remove the cash, because one thing, it's not that all the expenses are cash. Some is on the card and something is online. But there's a ritual. When you get the cash, so in India, a woman in the house who is running is called Lakshmi, the goddess of money. And that's normally the housewife. So earlier, for 30, 35 years, till she wasn't there, mom used to do that.
So she was
She was like the boss in the house. And just, I think, a week after the marriage, I sat with her while we were just chit-chatting in the bedroom. I said, I'll give you the money from next month, which is coming to me as a salary.
And as the daughter-in-law, that was
as
her
a daughter-in-law
role.
Yeah, and I want you to take responsibility and accountability for the expenses in the house. But you will go and give that money to mom, saying, you guide me, you teach me, this is your house. And what happens psychologically when I tell her that, I'm supporting her. She knows that she has complete trust from my side, number one, which is the only thing
and he was still new in that family.
Yeah, because love and respect is the two things that I should give her, no matter what. That's the bottom line. So I told her, do that. Go and sit with mama. Do this for me.
So you, as the one that had just entered the new family and that was by right the new boss, had to then accept the money and go straight to mother-in-law and hand it. How did that make you feel actually?
No, actually, handing over to her made me more powerful, because she was doing fantastic job of that, handling it since past all these years. Just by me coming a new person in the house doesn't give me that right that now everything is on to me. It feels offended for her. So as the right thing, I thought, let me have that guidance from her, because she was doing it anyways. And in that process, I would learn. And she was so kind enough that, no, beta, you keep it now. It is your responsibility. I will guide you, but now you handle it.
Okay, so the money went from Sagar, got it from his employer,
to Mansi.
Took it out of the bank, brought it to his new wife, Mansi. Mansi goes to mother-in-law, offers to hand it over. She gently, kindly rejects and says, I'll guide you, but it's in your hand and everyone is happy.
Absolutely, because that's a very, very subtle human psychology.
Everyone is happy because everyone is felt respected.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with challenges and issues? Because I would assume that being human beings, there will be moments where you go,
Absolutely. And there are fights, there are arguments, there are misunderstanding in the houses. Like, she would like to do something, mom would like to do something else. Both are in the kitchen, there's friction. All I do is I'm at the side.
You just keep your mouth.
I don't interfere.
You don't take sides.
No, I don't interfere. I don't take sides. And I told her that a day comes when I have to choose a side. even if you're right, even if something happens or if anything happens, I'll go there. I'll take the side of her because she's old, of
Your
mom. She's old. B, she'll be in a psychological thing that, because I'm old, because I'm not needed, she'll be going through those things. So I'll always be on your side, but still I'll go there.
Okay, but you made that very clear that you will always fully be on Mansi's side.
But
you will
physically, maybe if I'm sitting there or, because when people get old, they actually act like a child.
Yes.
So you actually give them more space, give them more love, give them more attention and make them that you're the only thing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, we will have our moments later, but this is the time for them because we don't know how long they're going to live.
And that transparency is very powerful.
Yes.
And that clarity. My last relationship ended because of over-dominance of mother-in-law who was always number one for everything. And there was no way for me to even breathe in the same room. And that was not healthy.
Yeah.
And I never had that trust that my partner would actually stand by my side because he wasn't.
Yeah.
And that is unhealthy for any relationship as well.
Yeah.
And that's where we all humans have fingers and we should see none of the finger is same. So if God, the Almighty, cannot create 5 fingers same, not that he could not, but he's done it on reason. Every human being is different. Respect everyone. Someone is good, someone is bad, someone is learning. It's okay.
That's nice how you say someone is learning. Aren't we all? Aren't we all in our ways?
But just nagging, complaining, finding faults, it's the easiest way to do. Compromise with someone, adjust with someone. That's true love.
Yeah. Are you happy with your choice?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And what's the one main thing you've learned from Sagar that you would like to share with the world, Mansi?
One lesson that or one learning that I had from him is never give up on whatever you think or whatever you dream of. Hold on to it and work towards it. One day you'll definitely have it for yourself.
Wow. Thank you. And what is last famous words in the Phoenix Mindset podcast? Beyond borders, from slum boy to internationally acclaimed speaker, author, business person. What is the one thing you would like to share with listeners and viewers today?
Okay. I would just say never underestimate yourself.
Never underestimate
You have the
yourself.
power to achieve everything in the world. Nothing stops you. It starts from believing in yourself. That's it.
Never underestimate yourself. Thank you so much, Sagar Amlani. Mansi.
Thank you so much for having us on the podcast.
It's been a pleasure and so good to see you again here in Singapore. And next time we'll see you is in Mahabalipuram next year for the Indian Speakers Conference, February, I think.
And we'll have dosas.
Oh, I said yesterday, no dosa, no Sonja.
Done deal.
And we're not going to have pizza again, please. We'll have like a million ghee dosas. And for those who don't know what a dosa is, it's the Indian equivalent of a crepe, of a pancake.
Pancake,
and
crepe.
It's the most delicious, amazing food. I'm actually going to have one tonight.
Let's have one now.
I'm actually going to have one tonight. We could just go and have one now. Shall we? There's Avni is also sitting here and she's going like, okay, we'll love you, leave you, and we'll have dosa.
Yeah.
And can I give you both a hug? I just want...
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
No, it's our pleasure.
What an honor, what a pleasure. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And you share that episode with people who also need to hear Sagar's story, because if he can make it from slum boy in India to internationally acclaimed, happily married, wonderful person who could afford a Rolex but doesn't buy it, rather sponsors other kids, then you can too.